Hello and welcome to the 2017 Ford GT. Today we are looking at this car because we are currently on the search to find the fastest production vehicle to come out of America. And our search takes us over to Ford, and the top pick for this category has to be the Ford GT. The supercar produced by Ford has been around for many decades, and now with its latest iteration, the 2017 Ford GT. So in Gran Turismo 7, this is the peak performance that Ford produces. Now the Ford GT can be picked up for a staggering 550,000 credits from Ford in Brand Central. And what do you get for that large amount of money? Well, you get a 3.5 liter twin turbocharged EcoBoost engine that produces 646 brake horsepower standard in a vehicle that only weighs 1,385 kgs, that is just over 3,000 pounds. So in a vehicle that is rather lightweight, producing 646 brake horsepower should be a whole lot of fun. And that is exactly what comes across once you get behind the wheel of this absolute beauty. So the Ford GT, when it comes to acceleration, the car it's a modern supercar, so that requires modern supercar power. So once you slam on the accelerator and you have no traction on, you're going to be greeted with a little bit of wheel spin, but then give it a minute because this car is going to start picking up some decent speed. On Kyoto Driving Park, you'll see the vehicle come to over 250 kilometers per hour by the end of the short straightaway. But then when it comes to cornering, well, the braking system, that is nothing to be faulted about. The car has exceptional brakes, so the car gets you slowed down in time to make it around any corner. The problem is when it comes to handling. Every now and then, it's not a consistent thing, but the vehicle often understeers. Now if you are slamming on the brakes and you're trying to turn, just like any other vehicle, the vehicle understeers. But even with the Ford GT, even if you're holding down the brake and you are turning, the car won't turn. But sometimes even when you let off the vehicle's brake and you let it just coast, the vehicle will still understeer. Now the suspension is also rather soft, and that doesn't really help when it comes to cornering. And if you do hit the apex and you go over a curb, you will notice that the vehicle's body will actually bounce around for a few seconds. So that is something that you do need to worry about, because this can actually slow you down and throw you off if you're going through an S-bend of some sort, because it will throw off how you line up the next turn. So avoid curbs if you are driving the Ford GT standard. But overall, the car is quite decent. It's nothing to really blow your socks off, but it's a decent performing vehicle. And if you have no traction on and you do want to take it sideways around corners, by all means you can. But it is going to be a bit tricky to handle at first, but I'm sure you can get the hang of it. Now the Ford GT, as I said, you can get to slide about, but let's say you aren't happy with it and you want to see the full capability of the Ford GT. Well, by all means, you can then head on over to a tuning shop and upgrade this vehicle. Now when it comes to upgrading the Ford GT, you are going to spend a lot of money. Just stage 5 weight reduction in this vehicle costs 500,000 credits. So if you purchase that alone, the vehicle is going to set you over 1 million credits, which means it is a very expensive Ford. So after spending a lot of money upgrading the Ford, you're going to be left with the performance stats being 935 brake horsepower with a weight of just under 1,100 kgs. So 1,080 kgs is a grand total of the Ford GT. So those power figures are a real improvement over standard and should make for a very spicy feeling out on circuit. But before we do that, we need to check out the aero parts. So if you head on over to GT Auto, well, we have one front splitter that costs 15,000, but it is essential to tune the downforce of the vehicle. So we have one front splitter, we have a single side skirts, and we have a single rear wing, which is the custom wing. So when it comes to actually wanting to tune the downforce of the vehicle, you need to ensure you have all three parts to just really help the vehicle get around corners. Now I put a livery on. The wheels are set to having a wide offset, as well as the rim width is wide as well. There's no wide body being applied to this vehicle, and we have just the large custom rear wing with the front splitter being purchased, as well as the side skirts. So this is essential if you do want to copy my tuning settings, which is going to be posted at the very end of this video. Now when you get behind the wheel of this beast, well, now if we take it back to Kyoto Driving Park, you're going to notice that at the end of the straightaway, you're going to be doing over 300 kilometers per hour before you need to slam on the brakes. And once you do, your vehicle is going to slow down drastically. And do not fear about understeer, because it is a thing of the past. It is no longer around and you do not have to stress about it. So then with Kyoto Driving Park, to really just let the vehicle carry through the S's, well, by all means, the vehicle can take those corners almost flat out. But if you just want to hit them bang on, you just need to let the vehicle coast. Sometimes the fastest way to get around a corner is to actually just, instead of slamming on the brakes, slowing the vehicle down, let the vehicle just flow through the corners, and you're gonna see your lap times drop. So the car is extremely nimble. It's super responsive when it comes to your steering inputs. The vehicle is very darty, and when it comes to even just the vehicle stepping out, yes, the car does step out every now and then, but it isn't anything really drastic. You aren't going to be needing to fight the vehicle to keep in line, not at all. The vehicle is extremely fast, and when it comes to just racing the Ford GT, it is a really enjoyable experience. Now fuel consumption is not the best, and if you want to use this in the hypercar parades, by all means you can, and you can win. However, there are vehicles that are a lot faster and will do a lot better. But as I said, for money grinding, I wouldn't use a Ford GT because fuel economy is not the best. However, it will get you a few laps depending on the event you use, like around the WTC 700. If you detune the Ford GT, well, you should be able to get at least 2 laps out of it before you need to refuel, if you turn your fuel map to fuel map level 6. So that's something you may want to keep in mind if you want to use this vehicle for the WTC 800 around Sardinia or Spa. Well, look, I haven't tested it out, but I'm just saying, if it isn't the best at Le Mans, it's not going to be the best around those events. So the Ford GT, a super fun vehicle and overall insanely good. The only real problem I have with the Ford GT is, I understand, yes, it's the full-on supercar from Ford, but the price tag and also how much the parts cost to upgrade this vehicle is just absolutely bonkers. So that's really the only thing that really brings down my overall view and opinion about the Ford. If we even just had the parts a little bit cheaper, I would really recommend it to you. But if you're looking for a fast Ford, by all means, this is the answer. But be prepared to spend a lot of money. So with all this being said, I hope you guys did go on to enjoy this video. Don't forget, leave a like and subscribe for more GT7 content, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.